One of the most important concepts in a geometry course is understanding the distinction between a point, a line, and a plane. Every object in our world has 3 dimensions. Usually we call these a length, a width, and a height. And even the skinniest piece of paper has 3 dimensions. 2 of them are obvious, but the third is only obvious when we stack, let's say, 100 of these sheets together and appreciate the thickness of our notebook. And the world of geometry is the same. It also has 3 dimensions, and this 3-dimensional world is called space. And you can think of space as thinking about the universe. It goes on infinitely in every single direction. Points, lines, and planes are just subsets of space, more specific descriptions of smaller regions within this 3-dimensional world. Let's start with understanding the concept of a plane. If you take a knife and just slice it right through space, if you think about cutting through a piece of cheese or cutting through a watermelon, that cross-section that you reveal has 2 dimensions. It has a length and it has a width, but it doesn't have a thickness. And that's the idea behind a plane. A plane is a 2-dimensional region that extends infinitely in both of those dimensions, but it has 0 thickness. So it's just that idea of the knife slicing through. Now, to understand a line, I think about the idea of what happens when 2 planes intersect. And here I'm thinking about my laptop. If I consider my screen as one plane and my keyboard as another plane, the hinge where they connect is their intersection. And that hinge only has 1 dimension. If I'm looking straight at my laptop, that dimension goes from left to right. It has a length. It has no width and it has no height. It just goes from left to right. And that's a line. A line is a 1-dimensional region that extends infinitely in that dimension, but it has no thickness, has no height. It only has a length. Our last term is a point. And to understand this, think of the intersection of 2 lines. Again, lines have no thickness, no width, they only have a length. So when they intersect, they only intersect at a very specific location. And this location is called a point. A point has exactly 0 dimensions. It has no height, no length, no width, no nothing. Really, it's just a very specific location in space. And although we use a dot to represent it on a piece of paper, once you draw that dot, it's already too big to actually be a point, because a point has no thickness, it has no length, it has no width, it has no height. So to recap, space is a 3-dimensional region, extends infinitely in all directions, and it contains an infinite amount of points. A plane is a 2-dimensional region that extends infinitely in both of these dimensions. Again, it contains an infinite amount of points as well. A line is a 1-dimensional region that extends infinitely in that dimension. And because of that infinite nature, it also contains an infinite amount of points. But a point, 0 dimensions, and it contains exactly 1 point.